AMC stock is starting off the day kind of crashing. The stock is down over 4%. What in the world is going on? Well, we had some economic data that came out today. You actually got some positive news from an analyst on AMC that has AMC's price target higher than where the stock is currently trading at. That did very little. Overall, Russell 2000 is down quite a bit. So I think that's the big story here. AMC's cost to borrow fees from interactive brokers are now over 800%. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to get into in a very short amount of time. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comments section. So AMC stock is very volatile, right? The stock kind of sold off a little bit and then started to sell off more. It wouldn't surprise me if the stock rebounds. But as of right now, AMC stock is down 3.38%. See, that was almost a 1% move in just a minute of talking. So it's very volatile, and we're not getting any news on this, which is weird because typically if AMC is down 4% or more, there's a reason behind it. There's some kind of news, but we're not seeing that today. Not so far, at least. But there are some developments. So if we take a look at Ortex, I think this is the obvious development that is bullish. Interactive Brokers has AMC's cost to borrow fees with 20,000 shares currently available at 868.68%. It's a lot of 6 and 8. But that's extreme. That's, what, 3 times the cost to borrow fees were when we started the trading day? They've all of a sudden started to spike dramatically. Interactive Brokers is more leaned towards hedge funds and institutions. A lot of retail don't have interactive broker accounts. So that's why I like to pay attention to these numbers even more. And when I see them spike like this, you see a direct correlation between AMC stock going higher and cost to borrow fees going higher. So cost to borrow fees usually go first, and then you see AMC stock follow suit. So we've seen the cost to borrow fees recently increase with AMC. Wouldn't surprise me if the stock also increases here shortly as well. But today, you're not seeing that yet. Live short interest of free float sitting at 22.92% with 118.33 million shares that are currently sold short. AMC stock is currently on the threshold securities list. Cost to borrow average sitting at 718%. Cost to borrow max at 1,060%. And cost to borrow minimum at 8.27%. So cost to borrow fees even higher with the cost to borrow max. Interactive Brokers is even higher than the cost to borrow average. So it wouldn't surprise me if these numbers continue to soar throughout the day today. And this alone puts a massive amount of pressure on the shorts. Not to mention, like I said in the last video, if you guys have not seen it, definitely go ahead and watch it. But let me just give you something to think about here. Markets are forward looking. So after this catalyst, which is the court proceedings, this bearish catalyst, markets are going to look ahead towards how does this change AMC? Does this change the company? Does it make the company in a better position? The answer is yes, right? So markets might start to price that in before we even get the bad news from Morgan Zern, which would be allowing dilution, which would be lifting the status quo order. Markets are going to look ahead to, yeah, AMC is going to raise billions of dollars of capital. That's bullish. Let's buy the stock. That narrative will play out at some point down the line. That's something that, in my opinion, is guaranteed. I'm not a financial advisor. I think it's guaranteed. It's not, right? I'm just saying that. But it's not, okay? But I think it is. So come to your own conclusions on that. That's very important. But I think that narrative will take place, not this week, likely next week. We're not supposed to hear anything from the courts as far as a final ruling on this litigation with AMC this week. But we'll see. We could get some kind of update or announcement, but Morgan said don't expect anything this week. So there's that. Now, the option activity today, again, super, super bearish. Mix in with my logic of the markets are forward looking and you might get a bullish reaction, looking forward to AMC raising a lot of capital. You're also seeing nobody is bullish in hedge fund and institutional land on AMC stock. The option flow is extremely, extremely negative. The most negative that I have seen on any stock ever. And I've been watching this stuff for years now. Today, so far, you have seen 22 orders totaling $5.87 million with a positive order value of 1%. The orders coming through so far, a July 28th $5 put, August 18th $5 put, July 28th $4 put, and a July 14th $4.50 put. So not even a single call yet, which is pretty normal as of recently for AMC. Now, if we take a look at the dollar amount currently sold short, sitting at $527.5 million. Estimated short interest of free float at 23%. Free float out on loan at 35.63%. Shares out on loan 184 million. Days to cover 8.74. And utilization is sitting at 91.43. I talked about this. The reason it's probably not at 100 right now is because the selling of Ape from Intera Capital, they've been dumping millions of shares. And it wouldn't surprise me if Ortex is picking up the total amount of shares from both AMC and Ape. But it looks like nothing has changed on AMC's side of things. Ape, obviously, a little bit different. There is a lot of dumping of Ape stock, so it wouldn't surprise me that there's a lot more shares available of Ape than there are for AMC. Days to cover being at 8.74, that is also something very bullish that you can look forward to, because it's going to be the same ratio after any dilution. There's still going to be a lot or high days to cover, I should say, and that's a problem for the shorts, especially when you couple that with 1,000% cost to borrow fees, sometimes more than that. That turns into a problem quickly for the shorts. Now, as far as what's causing this down move right now in the markets, let's go ahead and refresh the economic calendar. And you did get some bad data out of China. Now, it was the services data out of China that came in really bad, and we'll see if we can pull that up. It might take a second to get you guys that information. Yeah, I'm not seeing it as of right now, but bad data coming from factory orders as well in America. Factory orders month over month, you were expecting this to come in at about 1.5% positive. This number came in at 0.3% positive. So it was a pretty bad miss for factory orders. And that kind of, doesn't help this fear of a potential recession. Factory orders excluding transportation for the month of May was negative 0.5%. You were expecting positive 0.3%. So you're continuing this negative trend that we have seen since February of 2023. And again, that is fueling concerns of a potential recession. Big catalyst we have for the rest of the day is going to be the 17-week bond auction coming in at 11:30, as well as the FOMC minutes coming out at 2 p.m. And then Fed Williams does speak at 4 p.m. That's going to be after the markets are closed for trading. And then you're going to have Jolt's job openings, as well as ISM services that come out tomorrow. Fed Logan that speaks, as well as initial jobless claims, exports and imports, and Challenger job cuts coming in at 7:30 in the morning tomorrow. So quite a bit of economic data coming out tomorrow. But today, pretty recessionary data. This is causing the Russell 2000 as a whole to fall almost 1%, whereas if you look at the NASDAQ is up 0.12%. That is quite a big difference there, and people are really flooding into big cap tech again. And that is, what kind of this divergence you're seeing. People are selling your interest rate sensitive companies, your perceived economically sensitive companies, and buying those big tech names, which is driving up the indexes, but driving single stocks down. Most stocks are actually in the red today, even though the NASDAQ is in the green, because it's obviously weighted towards the biggest companies out there, which are seen as safe, right? So that's kind of what's happening on the day today. If we go ahead and take a look at the Stonko tracker data as well, I want to point this out again for everyone. You have seen a lot of options get placed on the option chain for this Friday, for July 7th, but also July 14th is going to be a big day as well. Meaning next week you're expecting to get a ruling from the courts, and you don't have a lot of options on this option expiration. So if you get a ruling from the courts, which we expect we will next week, you could see a lot of options flow onto this option chain, or this option expiration, I should say, for June 14th or July 14th. And that can move the stock quite a bit. If you start to get a lot of calls coming in, that's going to affect the stock bullishly, right? If you start to get a lot of puts coming in, that's going to affect the stock bearishly. And I do think if we get a rally next week or later on, even into this week, it's probably due to some option activity, potentially shorts covering, but I would probably say the option activity. Now, if we take a look at AMC stock on a technical basis, the RSI is at 40.42. So, under neutral, but not severely oversold like we were. AMC stock has bounced quite a bit recently, and it looks like that 8-day moving average is continuing to be pretty strong support. That number is sitting at $4.26 right now, so I would be surprised if you closed under that today. That would be a down move of over 4.5%. Don't think that's going to happen. I actually expect the next couple of days to be pretty bullish for AMC. Obviously, it depends how the economic data comes out, and if people get worried or whatnot about potential recession, like you're seeing today, that can also have a negative role to play on AMC. Now, you're actually getting some positive news from Analyst, which is Eric Wold from B. Riley Securities. He rates AMC a hold today. He reiterated this as a hold with a $4.50 price target. The average price target for AMC is $2.27 per share. He is double that, and he is about 20 cents higher than where the stock currently is. So I think once this court situation is done as well, you're probably going to see more analysts get bullish as well. You're probably going to see them, raising their price targets just based on, again, this narrative of if AMC has twice the amount of cash in the bank as their market cap is. If AMC can just get back to free cash flow, shouldn't the company at least be valued at where their cash is if they're not losing money? Well, I would argue probably, or at least close to it. That's the book value. Yeah, but obviously if they're losing money, you can't really value them based on their book value, because their books will slowly deteriorate if they are losing money. But nonetheless, you are getting some positive developments with AMC stock today. I think this is really just a macro, data move based on economic weakness in those factory orders, as well as the service number in China coming in above 50, so it's not contractionary, but a lot weaker than was expected, guys. So that is going to do it for this video. That is what you need to know as of right now. As the situation develops, as things change, I will bring you all of that information. In the meantime, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.